maybe just to spend a few minutes to listen and hear what I have to say, because I actually have an offer that's far better than anything that the casinos can offer you. I have an offer for you that is far better than, any type of alcohol or drugs or any high or anything can offer to you. And you see, at one time I was just like you. I was doing these very same things. I was using drugs, I was using alcohol and fornicating with women and things of that nature. And I'm not here to condemn you for those things. That's God's job to condemn people. And I'm not here to convict you for those things, but that's the Holy Spirit's job to convict people. And I'm not here to try to convince you, for that's also the Holy Spirit's job to convince you. But I do want to ask you, if you spend time using drugs and you spend time drinking and so forth, why do you do it? It's fun? Okay, yeah, it was fun, but then what? And then you got to go back and you got to do it over and over, and then you're looking for something else to do because we're not fulfilled inside. I know what it's like. I wasn't very fulfilled. I was looking for something in life, and I had to try to fill it with things like alcohol and drugs and fornicating with women and so forth. And so really it was just a symptom of my misery. I was trying to cover up all of my misery with things that really can't cover up my problems. Things that can't satisfy my need. False bravado, etc. So in reality, I'm not here to tell you to stop drinking or to stop using drugs or to stop fornicating or committing adultery. I'm not here to do those things, because those are merely symptoms of a bigger problem. Those are just symptoms of your misery. They're not. And besides, without the power of God, without the power of the Holy Spirit, you can't stop drinking. You can't stop fornicating or using drugs. You can't stop sinning without the power of God. So I'm not here to point and tell you to stop doing this or to stop doing that. What I'm here to do is to offer you something that's better. I'm here to offer you something that's better than drugs and better than alcohol and better than carousing and so forth. And that thing is reconciliation with God. I'm offering you the opportunity to be reconciled to God. Now, what does it mean to be reconciled? Well, it means that hostility has been ended. It means that peace has come. Now, in order for there to be reconciliation, there has to be a breach. When two nations have reconciliation, they have to have been at war. When you're reconciled with your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever whatever you have, when you're reconciled to someone, there has to have been a breach. And in fact, if we're going to be reconciled with God, that means that there has been a breach between us and God. There's a destruction to our relationship with God. And indeed, sin brought this hostility between man and God. And sin brought in these things. Sin brought in death. And sin brought in all sorts of destruction and bad things in our lives. It was sin that brought in the fire that burns our house, or the adulterous person who breaks our heart. It was sin that brought murder into the world. Before sin came into the world, Adam and Eve lived in a place where they had all of the food that they needed. They had all of the water that they needed. The weather was perfect. They had no problems. There was no difficulties. They lived in true paradise. But it was when they rebelled against God that this paradise ended. In fact, they had lived in a place where the lion lay down with the lamb and with the wildebeest and so forth. They never saw an animal kill and devour another animal. And when we see that kind of stuff, if you watch it on YouTube or you go on a safari or whatever, it's sort of shocking to see a lion or a leopard chase down another animal, kill it and eat it. That's a shocking thing for us to see. But you can imagine, our first parents, Adam and Eve, when they were kicked out of the garden, immediately the lion that at one time laid down with the lamb, now chased it down and had its blood all over its mouth. It must have been a pretty horrific thing to witness. But not only only this, Adam and Eve would soon, they would see their own son, one of their own sons, kill his own brother. It's just a horror that we see, and we live in a world that is stricken by the penalty of sin. You know, we have to deal with fires that occur and burn our homes up. We have to deal with sometimes people murder people that we love or that we know. We have auto accidents. Our house catches on fire. There's floods that occur and wash away